Hello, I'm Dango Rose. Welcome to the Mountaineer Podcast, where everybody's listening. The Mountaineer brings you the latest news of the Peak-to-Peak region, in print, online, through our podcast, social media, and special publications. Now, listen in to the latest news of the area with our local journalists.
Hello, my name is Jamie Lammers, and this week we have another musical guest. Do you mind introducing yourself real quick?
Mike Lamitola, live in Erie, Boulder County resident, been in Colorado for 19 years, originally from Connecticut.
So what got you started in music in the first place?
Well, my dad's a musician, so that was probably the first catalyst. I took piano starting like third grade, joined the school band in fifth grade for clarinet, so there was little movement back then. And then eighth grade was 1993 is when I discovered the Beatles. And that made me want to play guitar. Actually, my dad playing the Beatles riff, Day Tripper. That was it for me. I was like, okay, I want to play guitar now. And that sparked a lot more interest. And then through high school and college, I definitely played a lot more in college. And got more involved with bands and playing with other people.
Did you play in any bands during your journey through music?
I had a couple different bands in college. The beginning, doing a lot of like Beatles, Pink Floyd, Grateful Dead, a lot of jam band covers. I was doing an acoustic thing with a couple guys at school, and then moved into, towards the end of college, I really loved funk music too. So I ended up in a hip hop funk band that lasted a few years. Actually, that lasted right up till I moved to Colorado. And all the while I was in those, I was still writing and playing my own, so a lot of the folk singer-songwriter things that I do now. I've gotten a lot more tapped into that over the last few years. I've really never stopped doing that. Just when you play with other bands, you have other people involved.
Who are some of your biggest influences in the music scene?
I think my biggest influences, the Beatles, for sure. Neil Young, Dylan, Radiohead, In Back, very indie band out of the Northwest. Death Cab, Wilco, and Jeff Tweedy. That's probably good to give you. There's a much longer list of influence for sure. But yeah, it's kind of what I ended up doing now is the indie folk singer-songwriter. A lot of folks in that genre have influenced me, and that's where I always found a lot of comfort in those songs. Just honest songwriting. Avett Brothers, another one like in the last 10 years.
Do you have a particular style of music that you focus on?
I don't think about the genre, but I guess I would say Americana folk is kind of how it comes out. I think part of that is because I play solo acoustic, so sometimes I have a little Spanish influence. I do a lot of flamenco and jazz and other things that are not rock or folk. So some of that comes through, but at least in my songwriting, it's Americana and folk-based.
Do you have a favorite part of the songwriting process?
I play every day. I would say my favorite part is not knowing where something's going to come from. It's just a creative spark, inspiration. It's fun to just know and trust that keeps showing up. I do a lot of practices and trying to stay connected and meditation and things like that and keeping the creative connection open. But it is always, sometimes you think that you're not going to have any more songs, and then the next day or two, something happens or you hear something and it just gives you a great idea for a song. That's kind of an exciting thing to look forward to. A lot of my songs have come from going through grief and losing loved ones, breakups, divorce, all the life things, kids. So I definitely draw from a lot of different places.
Do you play a mix of both originals and covers?
Yeah, it's probably 80-20 originals to covers, especially for some of these longer gigs that are 2 hours or so. I definitely always throw covers in there. I almost always do a Radiohead cover. Throw a Pink Floyd. Fearless is really, throw in some Nirvana. I love 90s alternative and grunge. I was a huge fan of the 90s scene, so it's pretty regular to hear Nirvana or Smashing Pumpkins, some of those to come in there on the cover side. Colin Hay, I don't don't know if you're familiar with him from Men at Work.
What do you love most about performing live?
I think my favorite part, I love playing new places. And especially as I've been growing and reaching out to more people, you end up with more gigs. I love connecting with people while I'm playing. Doing the songs and storytelling is a big part of my playing. So it's nice to have intimate spaces where there's audiences that like to hear the stories behind the songs.
Is there anything you hope audience members will take away from your shows when they come and see you?
I try to be pretty honest in my writing. I write about a lot of things that I think pretty much everybody experiences and goes through. So I would like people to feel moved. I want them to feel something, to kind of create the human connection via music. That's what I love feeling when I go see live music.
Is there anything else you'd like to add before we wrap this up?
I have a YouTube, Instagram. I am pretty active on there, and a YouTube channel. I have some new videos that I just recorded, a kind of live shop. I do have my music streaming. I had an album that came out in December 22, so just before New Year last year. I'm working on another, it'll probably be like an EP, maybe 6 or 7 songs that I'm working on getting recorded to get back out there. Some of those are available on YouTube and video as far as promoting things. But otherwise, I play kind of all over the Front Range and beyond, and I'm excited to see what other gigs and opportunities come up. I love getting up there in that area. It's always fun to find places. I played at Eldora a few years ago, and that was like right before COVID.
Thank you so much to Mike for coming on board and joining us for the podcast. If you want to see him performing live, you can catch him at the Jamestown Mercantile, located at 108 Main Street in Jamestown on Sunday, February 18th, 2024, starting at noon.
I woke up this morning with a smile on my face. I meant to ask you, have you ever been away? Yesterday together we were in another place. I think I floated away. And
now, for this week's Music Mentions. Head to Busey Brews, located at 70 East 1st Street in Netherland on Sunday, February 11th at 2 p.m. to see Jeff Grayson performing live. Head to the Diner Bar Ned, located at 121 North Jefferson Street in Netherland on Wednesdays at 8:30 p.m. for a karaoke night, and on Sundays at 6 p.m. for an open mic night. Head to Eldora Mountain Resort, located at 2861 Eldora Ski Road in Netherland on Friday, February 9th at 9 a.m. for a park affair with DJ Teagues and Iris Berkeley, on Friday, February 9th at 11 a.m. for Friday Timbers Tap House Series with Eric Richard Stone, on Saturday, February 10th at 9 a.m. for DJs in the Woodward Boombox Series with Terry Donovan, on Saturday, February 10th at 1 p.m. for Fireside and Timbers Lodge Series with Brett Kretzer and Scott Slay, on Sunday, February 11th at 9 a.m. for DJs in the Woodward Boombox Series with God Laser, and on Sunday, February 11th at 1 p.m. to see Second Jazz Sundays with Wellington Bowlings. Head to Howland Brewing, located at 51A Main Street in Rollinsville on Saturday, February 10th at 6 p.m. to see Melton the Family Band performing live, and on Sunday, February 11th at 3 p.m. to see We Women Musical Showcase. Also be sure to head there on Wednesday, February 14th at 5:30 p.m. to see Singles Mingle. Head to the Jamestown Mercantile, located at 108 Main Street in Jamestown on Friday, February 9th at 7 p.m. for Good Music Medicine, and on Thursday, February 15th at 7 p.m. to see Chris Weist from Woodbelly and Friends. Head to Knotted Root Brewing, located at 250 North Caribou Street in Netherland on Friday, February 9th at 6 p.m. to see Brittany Wagner performing live, and on Saturday, February 10th at 5 p.m. to see Jen Treadley performing live. Also be sure to head there every Sunday at 5 p.m. for Jazz Sundays. And finally, head to the Very Nice Brewing Company, located at 20 East Lakeview Drive, number 112 in Netherland on Friday, February 9th at 6 p.m. to see Wendy Pines performing live, and on Saturday, February 10th at 5 p.m. to see Fortel performing live. Did we miss you or your performance? Want to submit your music listing in the Peak to Peak area? Do you have updates to your business or to your performances? Please call 303-810-5409 or email info@themountaineer.com to be included in the next print edition or the next podcast of The Mountain Ear.
And that's it for our show. Subscribe online to get more access to more news, weekly updates to our community calendar, and a link to our YouTube channel by visiting themountaineer.com. Be sure to use the coupon code PODCAST when subscribing for a 10% discount, only available to our listeners. If you are in the local Peak to Peak area, be sure to pick up a print edition of The Mountaineer at a local business. I'm Dango Rose. Thank you for listening.